Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Aurelia Hanin Salsabila from class 4B majoring English education at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. And in this occasion, I wanted to retelling the story that I have read before. The title is Crash Into You by G.X. Croix. Enjoy it! The story began when Daphne went to Alaska. She wanted to calm herself after her loss of her son, Brandon. She wanted to leave Atlanta and she found an ad about the Alaska resort on social media. In Alaska, she rents a room from Flynn's resort. Besides, Flynn runs his Mother Heritage Inn. He ran the business with his 3 younger brother. His mom died 7 years ago during his younger siblings, Grant, 18 years old, Nora, 16 years old, and Kate, 9 years old. Before Brandon's death, Daphne ran a bakery in Atlanta. Brandon, 7 years old at that time, and when his illness discovered, Daphne decided to stop her business and take care of Brandon intensively in hospital. After a month, Brandon's condition getting worse, and he finally died. When the day on Brandon's death, Daphne also found out that her husband, Nat, had an affair with her best friend, Natalie, who also worked at the same office as Nate. And, well, faced the tragedy in a row make Daphne mentality had shaken, and she had anxiety and was prone to have a panic attacks. On the other hand, Flint had dreamed of becoming an Air Forces military, but at age of 25, he got news that his mother died and left a small inn with unused land and warehouse behind it. So, Flynn decided to go out the Air Forces and run the small inn. Before it, he make up that inn become a resort with provide a beautiful scenes of lake and forest in Alaska with the small plant rented and driven by Flynn and some of his 4A's Air Force friends who decided to go out as Flynn did. 7 years, Flynn take care of his 3 younger siblings with responsibility. Grant, who now at flight training to help Flynn endeavors, as well as 20 years old Nora, who really admires at Flynn, aspire to interest in aviation academic as well. And his youngest siblings, Kat, who was now teenager, become a challenging part at educating his sibling. On the first day Daphne stayed at Flynn's resort, she took a look around at the resort and she got to know Flynn's siblings. For your information, guys, Daphne stayed there for 2 months. Okay, back to the story. Kate, Flynn's siblings, youngest siblings, like to have a chat intimately with Daphne. She told about everything about Flint, and there Daphne also familiarized herself with place there because that resort had a family environment system. She also get to know with the other guests. After a few days passed, Daphne had a little awkward interaction with Flint. Well, this feeling had felt since the first day she came in Alaska. At that time, Daphne got into a little incident and her panic attacks appeared. And at that moment, Flint came like a hero and made Daphne fluttered. Likewise with Flint, at the first days he saw Daphne's figure. He thought that Daphne was a princess who had strayed into a forest in Alaska with very beautiful and fashionable appearance. So since then, Flint called Daphne as a princess. But after several days of Daphne at the resort, Flint believed that there was something bigger happened to Daphne that causes she came to travel let alone in the forest, even though she could not possibly to do that. After a month passed, they looked even more closed, especially when the kitchen resort employer that had resigned because of Flint's attitude, so make her uncomfortable. So Daphne volunteered to fill this position. Before that, everyone didn't believe that Daphne could cook because of her appearance. But after entering to the kitchen and serving food, voila, they all found that Daphne had run a bakery. It's a famous bakery in Atlanta. Day by day, their feeling grows stronger, but often Flint rejects the feeling because he thinks that he still had his sibling as his responsibility and he need to make more money to take care of them, to take good care of them. And he didn't prioritize a love relationship over them. Even though his siblings wanted to see Flint had someone to share love each other to take care of Flint. Until Daphne took a step forward. She asked about the continuation of their relationship, and finally, Flint decided to go back straight with Daphne. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Daphne's parents were going through an economic crisis because Daphne lived and didn't say anything to them. Daphne's parents' company depends on net company, so her mom contact Daphne and asked her to come back with net. And after her mother calling her, at the first, Daphne refused to come back. But after convinced by Flint that whatever she decided, he will appreciate it. And so Daphne decided to go home and expressed her all feeling all this time to her parents, and she said that she wanted to continue her business in Atlanta and she wanted to continue her job in Flint Resort as a chef. She also made net, and she said that she had forgotten about the past between them, and he said that she said that she could not to get back together with Ned. After his business in Atlanta, Daphne went back to Alaska and she went about the day as usual. And that made Kate was annoyed because their relationship had stopped. So Kate, Flynn's little sister, told to Daphne to ask about their relationship to Flynn. And at the end of the story, Daphne asked about married to Flynn, and directly at the time, Flynn had proposed her. At the epilogue, 7 years later, Flynn and Daphne live a happy life, and they had a son named Charlie. So, this is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed this story, and thank you for watching. See you on the next